Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in the last video we see AWS releases its new services with S3. This is basically Amazon S3. So we briefly know what S3 vectors are and how it will help us in our generative AI solutions to make the generative AI applications. So today in this video we are going to create a simple chatbot using S3 vectors. So we are keeping our documents inside the S3 vectors, and we are keeping those documents using a knowledge base of Amazon Bedrock to vectorize the documents through Amazon knowledge base using some embedding models and keep it into S3 vectors, and then use that as a reference, and we will query from those documents. So basically that's the plan for today. So let's get started. So we'll first go to the AWS console. So basically I've moved so log in with your console, AWS console. You have it will cost you some dollars around, like if you try it out more number of queries, then it will cost you few dollars. So yeah, keeping some credits in your accounts is much helpful in this. So one suggestion, just create one IAM user to use that, because sometimes what happens, like Amazon Bedrock will not accessible from the root user, or some services in AWS is not created through the root user, because S3 vectors is currently now in preview state. So yeah, that might be the case, because I tried it earlier and it will says to create a IAM user first, and then you can try. So you can just let's start the demo for today's S3 vector, how to utilize this and implement and create our own chatbot. This is basically a simple RAG chatbot using S3 vector. So let's get started. So for this, you can create the S3 vector by going to the S3 here. You just click on the S3, or you search in the search bar. If you search S3, then you will found the S3 services. So once you got here, you can see S3 general purpose buckets, and this is the new one, vector bucket preview. Just click on that. You can see I tried earlier by creating a vector bucket. So your vector buckets are uh, coming up here. So you can also create the vector buckets from here. Just click on create vector bucket and just name your vector bucket, and just click on create vector bucket. So this is the one way, and you can also try with another way. So let me just create from here, so that our vector bucket name is specific, which we want to specify. That is the we will easily specify the vector bucket name. Otherwise, if you create the vector bucket from any using other services like Bedrock, then it will automatically creates the vector bucket name with some IDs, as you can see right up here. So earlier I created using Bedrock knowledge base, so the vector bucket name is something like this. So right now I'm creating from here. So let's just name it as test s3 bucket, s3 vector bucket, and click on create vector bucket. So yeah, you can see this test s3 vector bucket is now created. If you just open it, you will have vector indexes. So you can create your own vector indexes if you want, but creating vector indexes is much more efficient through the some embedding model. So we can use those to create our vector indexes in a specified dimensions, so that we will use those using some similarity searches, cosine similarity and different similarity searches. So yeah, basically if you create your own vector indexes, then it's kind of for the demo purpose you want to show. But right now we are creating the RAG chatbot, so we are creating those vector indexes from the embedding models itself. So right now we are not creating here the vector index, we are creating using the embedding models. So you can also see, you can also create vector bucket to insert list and query vectors using CLIs and SDKs, and REST APIs are also available for this. So let's go and insert some data into it. So let's go and go to the Bedrock service of AWS, which is the easiest, which service, this Amazon Bedrock is the easiest way to build the AI models, generative AI, chatbots, and integrates with different base models, LLM based models like Claude, Anthropic, Claude, like Amazon Titan, etc. So you have to enable some of the models if you don't have in your account. So in my account, just go to check whether your model access is enabled or not. Just go to the model access section. For each region the models are different. So in North Virginia region, I think most of the models are available. If you just switch to the other region, you can see North California, it's coming up. I think new region is coming up. So in different region, different less amount of models are also available. So in North Virginia, I think whenever they add a new model, they will first release it here only. So I switch, that's why I'm using the North Virginia region. You can see there are different companies, AI21 Labs, Amazon has its own 15 model with text embedding, text and vision, speech text, image and video also. Then Anthropic has its own text and vision and text model. Then Cohere, DeepSeek, Meta, Mistral AI, Stability AI, and 12 Labs. So yeah, for this demo, I'm going to use the Anthropic model, that is Amazon Anthropic Claude 3.5 Sonnet v2. So I enabled it. So if you have to access the model, just click on modify model access, and whichever model you want to access, just select this and click on next, and then click on basically you have to provide consent that you are going to use this model, and how much you use, based on that it will charge you. Basically the Bedrock will charge you accordingly, how much token you request and how much input token and output token, based on those. So yeah, my Claude Anthropic Sonnet 3.5 version 2 is up. So we are going to use this one in our RAG chatbot today, which we are going to build. So after getting the model access, just go to the knowledge base. You can see in the build section, knowledge base is there. So knowledge base is nothing but the connecting point between the vector store, different vector databases, and the data and where our objects are. Basically it connects the models with vector databases, you can say that. So I have already created a knowledge base, so let's just create a new knowledge base here. Create knowledge base with vector store. Here you can see there are three different types of options giving up for Kendra GenAI index and structured data store. So structured, basically if you have some structured data, then you can go for this, but for now we are creating with vector store. So just click on this. You can rename the knowledge base accordingly. So I'm just passing it as test. Knowledge base is KB, and for S3 vector, if you want to add some description, you can also add that. And this requires, next we have to set a IAM permissions to use those knowledge bases wherever we want to use. So by default it will create and use a new service role for this knowledge base. So let me just go with the default one. Then for the data source type, where our object files are being stored, you have to choose the uh, locations where our files are located. So whether it is in S3 or Salesforce or SharePoint or any other custom data source. It is in Confluence, Salesforce, web crawler and SharePoint are in preview state. So right now we are storing our data files, PDF files into Amazon S3. So just choose S3. If you add some tags, if you want to add some tags, then you can also add some tags. And if you want to log the deliveries and application logs, you can also add those. So right now I'm going with the default one, like I'm not going to add these. So just click on next. Next we have to create a data source name, so where our data is located. So let me just go with the same name. I think data source name, you can also edit this, but I'm going with the same name. Whether this data source is located in this AWS account or other AWS account, you can also if you choose this other AWS account, then you have to provide those IAM bucket policies, like rules to read those files. For now we are using this AWS account only, so just choose this AWS account and browse S3. Here before selecting any S3 bucket, you have a S3 bucket already in place, so just choose that. So I've already created a S3 bucket with this name and with this S3 vector test. So I'm just choosing this and click on choose. So this is our S3 bucket from where we will upload our documents in which we want to query from our chatbot. So next, if we want to add some customer managed KMS keys, then you can also add, but I'm going with the default one. Next is the parsing strategy. If you want Amazon Bedrock default parser, then you can use the Amazon Bedrock default parser. If you use some data automation as a parser, foundation models as a parser, then you have to choose the model also that will parse the data. Basically I'm going with the default one, Amazon Bedrock default parser. Then next is how your chunking will happen for the documents which are stored in this data source. So I'm going with the default chunking, which is about 300 tokens in size, and there are different methods also for chunking: fixed size, hierarchy, semantic, and no chunking. So I'm going with the default chunking. Next, two more things are optional, like extra fields, like transformation function. If you have some code written to transform your data, and then you want that to be uh, work around for your data, then you can use those code into a lambda function, and then you can choose it from here if you want to. So for now I'm not just going for the transformation function. I want that Bedrock will do all the things for me. In the advanced settings, you can use the default KMS key, or if you have anything customized, you can also choose that. For the data deletion policy, it is delete. The data will not retain if we delete the data from the data source. So that will also delete from the that way. If the data is deleted from the source data source, then we will not able to query from that. So I'm leaving all these fields as by default and clicking on the next. Next we have to choose the embedding model. So selecting the embedding model. So we have Amazon Enquire with embedding model. So I'm choosing the Amazon text embedding model version 2 and apply. This is on demand, like how much data, how much PDFs, how much documents we have. Based on that it will charge. We have some additional configuration also. If you choose the vector dimension, you can also choose like 256 dimension 512 or 1024, and you can also choose. If you go with the binary vector embedding, then you can also choose that as well. I'm going with the default one. Next one is the vector store. So here comes our S3 vector. So here we are going with the create a new vector store. It will recommend that create a new vector store, but what we want, that we already created a S3 vector store in our account, so we will choose use an existing vector store. So just click on that, and if you not if you haven't created the S3 vector store earlier by going to the S3 console, then you have to go with this quick create new vector store and just select here S3 vectors, which is in preview, you can see, and just click on next. But as we have already created, so we have to just use an existing vector store and just select your vector store. I am selecting S3 vectors, and then it will ask you the S3 bucket ARN. You can just browse the S3, and here I think this is the one which we created, test S3 bucket. Yeah, so just choose that and just click on here. Vector, choose vector index ARN, for example this. So we have to create a vector index there also. So let me just go to the S3 vector page, S3 bucket, open, vector buckets. We have to create a vector index inside it. So this is my test index. I have to choose the dimensions also. So let me choose its dimension as the same one which we already embedded in the embedding model, 1024. Then distance in cosine, and just create this vector index. After creating the vector index, you will be able to see this ARN of this vector index. Just copy this and just go to the Amazon Bedrock knowledge base page. Just paste this one. I think if you just refresh it, just click on cross, just browse here, choose it, and again go to the test 3 vector, it will appear, I think. Yeah, you can see test index is appearing. Just choose that and click on next. So once you choose that, you will, on the page of the review and create, here you will review all the things and just click on create knowledge base. So it will take around 2 to 3 minutes to creating this knowledge base. So just wait till the timing it is created. Let's just open Lambda functions, because we are going to create a Lambda function for our chatbot, and if you want any API to integrate it in your chatbot, then you can add this Lambda function by add a trigger to the Lambda function through an API gateway. Whenever any query comes, the Lambda runs and the response will be generated. So you can see our data source is created, and this is our knowledge base. This is our knowledge base ID. So this is created. So you can see last sync time. Right now it's not synced yet with this source location. So let's just go to the source location in S3, and then we will upload some files there. So let's just go to this bucket which we set there. This is our bucket, and in this S3 vector test, so I have added 2 files here, one regarding agentic AI, and one is the summary of this AWS AI Conclave 2025 Bangalore keynote recap. So these 2 PDFs I have uploaded earlier. So just go back to the Bedrock knowledge base page and just select this and sync this. So if you click on sync, it will start the syncing from the source location, and it will start the creating the vectors. But I think there is some failure, sync failed due Source encounter invalid record for the key. This one filter metadata must have most no bytes. Why this is failing? Let me just sync it again. There is some challenges. Filterable metadata have at most 2084 bytes. Okay, so that is one thing I haven't tried because I already created this one for you. So you can so I let for the time being I already created another knowledge base to showcase this demo. So this is the knowledge base which is again connected with the same folder. Let me just resync it. Last sync time which I tried earlier. So I think sync completed to the data source. If you just click in it, you will be able to see how much files are there. So there are 2 source files and it is being synced. Next we will go to the AWS Lambda function and see. We will create a Lambda function for this. So I've already created a Lambda function to test our RAG chatbot. So this is our test bot. S3 vector. So in this you can see we have to I have to import some Boto3 to access the Bedrock client because we are calling the LLM models and the knowledge base. So after creating this function, you have to give the permission to read the S3 files and the knowledge base Bedrock full access. For this demo, I'm giving all the permissions to this. So if you just go to this permission file IAM role which is attached with this Lambda function, you will be able to see that these are the roles, these are the policies which I provided it: Bedrock full access, S3 full access, and this is the execution rule policy. This IAM role is attached with this Lambda function, and this is the code which I wrote to connect with this knowledge base which I earlier created. So here is this retrieve and generate configuration code. It will extract the data from this knowledge base. This is the knowledge base ID. So you can just go here and you can see this is the knowledge base ID. Just click on the knowledge base part which we created and you will be able to see the knowledge base ID. So I will share this code in the this is the knowledge base ID. I will share this code in the description as a file. I will share this file, you can try it out. It needs the model ARN, which model we want to try. So we are trying with Sonnet v2. So if you're not able to find this model ARN, you have to go to the Bedrock page. Here you have to go for the infer custom model batch inferences, or I think it's there. If you are not able to find the batch model ARN, just go to the cross region inferences. Here if you search for your model Sonnet v2, so you will be able to find the instance profile ARN for this one. So this is the ARN which we are using right in the AWS code, AWS Lambda code. So this function will retrieve the information from our knowledge base and from our S3 bucket and then reply based on that, and the reply is generated through this model, extracted from this knowledge base and replied through reply is generated through this model. Next our result will be generated. So this is the simple RAG chatbot. If you just try it out, just click on deploy and test, click click on deploy to save this code, and just click on test. It will ask for new test event. I'm just creating a new test event. So we have to pass the query, you have to pass the query here. It will get from the event, so we have to pass the query right up here. So in the query I'm asking what is AWS S3 vector. Let's see in those documents this data is present or not. Test invoke, and this, let's click on save, and then you can see this test event is created right up here. Just click on play. So it will start running the job for start querying. So you can see what is AWS S3 vector. So you can say I cannot find any specified information about S3 vector because the document which we uploaded, that does not contain any data regarding to this S3 vector. So this is our output. You can see this is our response which we got. So you can use this response value and print it out wherever you want. Like you can integrate this code in your application, chatbot application, or anything else where you want to do. Let me just edit this and add a query related to what is agentic AI, as I also uploaded a document related to agentic AI. Just click on save and just invoke it. You can also invoke it from here or right up here. You can see what is agentic AI. It generates an answer based on the data it has in those two documents which we uploaded in the S3. So it basically first goes to the S3 vector. There it finds some matching, and then the model generates the response based on those similarities which it found from the S3 vector. AI refers to the system where multiple specialized AI agents are there. If you type any random question, it will not respond because this is the RAG chatbot. It will only respond whatever context you uploaded in the S3, whatever context you provided through the source. So our source in our case is S3 bucket, and the vector store is S3 vector. So we upload the PDFs documents in S3, then it converts. We have to run the sync job from the knowledge base so that the documents are converted into the vector store, and then we will be able to query. If you find who is MS Dhoni, it will not able to answer it because it does not have those related information related to MS Dhoni. Let me try in such a way that who is MS Dhoni based on your information. So this is kind of, I am injecting some kind of data. I'm asking to the model, like if you have some information related to that name MS Dhoni, then give me the information. So let's see how it goes. whether it is able to answer or not. Yeah, so basically the model does not go beyond the does not go beyond the query, does not go beyond our S3 bucket. So that's why it replies in such a manner. Based on the provided search, I cannot find any information. While the search will mention some cricketer-related personalities like Ravichandran Ashwin and Harsha Bhogle. So it also checks that these are the two personalities which are attended, which are mentioned in the documents, because these two are present in our AWS keynote in Bangalore this year. So that's why it will capture these two names. If I just search for the Ashwin, I think it will reply. As it mentioned, like it has the data of Ravichandran Ashwin. Indian Cafe who appears one of the featured speaker in the event. You can see like this is much amount of data it has stored regarding the Ashwin. Let me just ask why Ashwin and Harsha is invited to the AWS event. Just try this one out. This was kind of interesting one. Let's see how it replies based on the search result. So once it starts based on the search result, it only gets the extraction, like it only gets the line from those documents only. And Harsha Bhogle are listed as featured speaker at AWS event. However, the search result does not provide any specific details. So there is no any specific reason mentioned in the documents why these two are invited. But these are the listed speakers, so that's the answer it is giving. So that's the RAG chatbot for you using S3 Vector. Hope you guys liked it. See you in the next video. Thank you.